dairy industry is appreciative of you taking the initiative to view this video and learn more about fitness to transport for dairy cows and calves. We thank you for being part of the dairy industry, for taking care of animals every day, and meeting the dairy industry's ongoing commitment to providing excellent animal care, and also for allowing us all to have safe and wholesome products to feed our families.
The goal of this video is to inform and empower animal caretakers, farm managers, and owners to be proactive and confident in the following areas. What is fitness to transport? Why is it important? Who impacts fitness to transport decisions? How do we know if cows and calves are fit to transport? How should cows and calves that are not fit to transport be handled? Some of these decisions are difficult to make and difficult to execute. Ultimately, fitness to transport must be assessed every time animals are loaded, no matter where that occurs in the supply chain. And that means fitness to transport is really monitored by you. The calf raising or dairy operation is typically the first point where the fitness to transport decision is made. And the decision must be made correctly every time after that, regardless if it is at a sale or an auction barn, a veterinary clinic, slaughter plant, or any other location. We hope that this guidance will help make these decisions a little more straightforward and in time easier to execute.
You spent a lot of time caring for these dairy cows and calves, and now it's your job to make sure they're in good condition to transition to someone else's care. When animals leave the farm, they often have a journey ahead of them that is typically unknown, longer than expected, and can be more stressful than we may realize. This is why fitness to transport decisions are so important to ensure that all animals are transported can withstand the entire journey to their final destination without their welfare being compromised.
Ensuring a high quality of life for all dairy animals is part of a dairy farm's ongoing commitment to good animal care. This commitment starts the day the animal arrives on the farm and continues through to the animal's final destination. Depending on your role at the farm or other type of operation, you may be responsible for making decisions related to why and when animals leave the facility. Make sure you talk to your manager or supervisor in order to understand what your role is in making these decisions.
When a decision is made for an animal to be sold and transported, it is critical that the decision is made in time for the animal to still be fit to transport. This proactive decision-making process and strict adherence to fitness to transport protocols are key in ensuring that animals leave the farm at the proper time and in the proper condition for their welfare not to be compromised. So what is fitness to transport?
Fitness to transport can be best understood by first recognizing which cattle are fit to travel from the farm to another facility. Fit cattle are animals in good physical condition and health that are expected to reach their destination in the same condition as when they left the operation.
There is no problem transporting animals that are fit and in good physical condition.
But how do we correctly identify cows and calves that are not fit to transport? Generally, if an animal is not fit to transport, it means the animal has some condition that will make it unable to endure the journey that lies ahead. And even if it makes the journey, it will not be without some negative welfare consequences for the cow or calf.
The key questions to consider include 1. Will the animals make it to their final destination? And 2. If they do, is it likely that their welfare will be compromised on their journey? It's important to remember that an animal's condition will likely not improve during the journey and instead can worsen.
Probably we all share some ideas of when an animal should not be transported. Maybe they have trouble walking, they're exhausted, but it is important to be clear about what these conditions are and how to identify them.
Fitness to transport is determined at the time when an animal is being loaded into a trailer. That means there is an evaluation of every individual animal and its current condition as you are preparing to load the animals.
The decision to cull animals or separate animals from the general herd to sell, send to slaughter, or euthanize is made first. Sometimes after the decision to cull is made, animals may have to wait some time before they are actually transported. So it is critical to reassess their condition at the time of loading for transport.
Now let's review some animal conditions and when we can or should not transport animals. There are many conditions that may prohibit animals from being transported, so don't get overwhelmed.
The following questions will help a caretaker to decide which cows and calves are fit to transport and which are not. All of these conditions compromise animal welfare and the animal should not be transported.
Is the cow or calf non-ambulatory? Non-ambulatory animals should not be transported. Remember, animal condition will not improve during transport. These animals are not fit to transport.
Is the cow calving or has a high likelihood of calving during transport? If a cow is close to calving, transport should be delayed. Cows in this condition are not fit to transport.
Does a cow or calf have any bone fractures, spine injuries, or open wounds? All of these conditions cause pain to the animal, and these animals are not fit to transport.
Does the cow or calf have a poor body condition? Cows and calves that are emaciated or in poor body conditions, such as a body condition score of 2 or less, are not fit to transport. These animals are weak due to undernourishment, disease, or injury, and their welfare will be further compromised during the journey.
Does a cow have a distended udder? A distended udder can cause pain and mobility issues. Cows with this condition are not fit to transport.
Are there other conditions that indicate the animal is distressed, in pain, or unacceptable for transport? Yes. Some of these include cancer eye, blindness in both eyes, fever over 103 degrees Fahrenheit, illness, weakness, dehydration, prolapses, and animals that have not met their meat or milk withdrawal times. All of these conditions not only negatively impact the welfare of the animal during transport, but may also impact the outcome of regulatory inspection at the slaughter plant. USDA inspectors at slaughter facilities will look for animals that present a risk to the food supply by looking for signs of disease or recent animal health product administration. Questionable animals will be separated into a suspect pen at the slaughter plant where they are evaluated, and if condemned, they will not be used for food.
In general, animals with these conditions should be treated and allowed sufficient time for recovery or be euthanized on the facility. It is important to identify animals with any of these conditions in a timely and efficient manner. Compromised animals are different than those animals unfit to transport. Compromised animals are those with special needs, including calves, that may need to be transported to receive veterinary care or be taken directly to emergency slaughter. Compromised animals need extra attention during transport and should include restricting commingling on the trailer, such as separating compartments, protecting each animal from one another. Providing protection from weather, which may include slats on the trailer during cold weather. During hot weather, consider transporting during the cooler times of day. Providing bedding, especially for young calves. Avoiding performing stressful procedures right before transport, such as disbudding. Handling animals with care during loading and unloading to prevent further injury.
Every farm's goal should be to guarantee that every animal leaving the facility is fit to transport. Therefore, it is critical that fitness to transport standards and best practices are immersed within the farm's culture, management expectations, and leadership. A great way to ensure this is to develop a protocol that serves as a roadmap for fitness to transport decisions. Establish clear guidelines about what animals are considered unfit for transport. Make the dairy's protocol accessible to the individuals who need to understand it and in a language that is understood. Provide annual training that is based on the farm's protocol. Evaluate animals together with supervisors or teammates to determine which animals are and are not fit to transport. Open communication is the foundation between every employee and employer to carry out protocol responsibilities. If you're not sure about an animal's ability to be fit to transport, ask. In summary, here is what we hope you learned from this video.
Fitness to transport decisions are important for ensuring cow and calf welfare when they leave the farm and travel to their next destination, whether that be a sale barn or a slaughter plant.
Fit cattle are those in good physical condition and health that are expected to reach their destination in the same condition. If an animal is not fit to transport, it means the animal has some condition that will make it unable to endure the journey ahead without its welfare being compromised.
Fitness to transport is determined at the time when the animal is being loaded into the trailer. This differs from the decision to cull animals or separate animals from the general herd to sell, send to slaughter, or euthanize. The conditions that would make an animal unfit to transport must be clearly identified in protocols and training and can easily be found in the farm program standards.
Ultimately, fitness to transport must be assessed every time animals are loaded, no matter where that occurs in the supply chain. And that means fitness to transport is determined by you.
Thank you for your attention and for working hard every day to care for cattle and feed families around the world. Because of you and your decisions, you ensure the safety, health, and high quality of life for all animals in your care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This video is meant to support you and help how you care for animals every day. If you have any questions, please ask your veterinarian and supervisor for further clarification on fitness to transport decisions and protocols. In addition, you can find further information about fitness to transport in the Farm Animal Care Reference Manual and related resources. We hope this video makes you feel confident in making proactive decisions that are best for the animal.